And here we are. It's been a while again since we've done one of these.
What, like 6 months, I think?
Yeah, and last time we had a little, a year break in between, but we've been super, super busy. So we're going to talk about all that stuff over the next hour or so. As always, I'm Ben,
I'm Anthony.
and this is People versus Paranormal. Cue that music. Take me to the top. Okay, so first let's talk about some paranormal news.
Yo, why don't you stop squeaking, man?
I can't help it.
Yeah.
I get excited.
Squeaky wheel over here.
So we had a kind of a tragic death in the paranormal world. Lorraine Warren passed away. So her and Ed are now both gone. They were kind of like the grandparents of the paranormal industry, pretty much. So sad hit there. So some more exciting news: Bridgewater Triangle. For those of you not familiar with the area, it's a section of Massachusetts. It's considered the Bermuda Triangle of New England, pretty much.
I'm pretty sure you can take a cruise there, actually. Brandon's parents went.
Yeah, there's connects Taunton, a couple other towns, some rivers and stuff. There's swamps, but claims of UFO sightings, Bigfoots, Thunderbirds, which are like giant pterodactyl type things, and Pukwudgies, which are if Wookiees and Ewoks mated. They're like these little short little cavemen things.
Yeah, it's technically the Lost World.
Yeah, so lots of claims there. So kind of cool. FX has just picked up a series about it. Don't know if it's going to be fact or fiction, but should be exciting. They've also just announced that Haunting of Hill House Season 2 is coming, and it's supposed to be even scarier than the first. And if anyone remembers a previous podcast we talked about it, that was one of the few series that actually scared me. Like, I remember a couple times I had to pause it and be like, okay, let me just take a second here. This is kind of good.
It was pretty well written, though, definitely.
So let's talk about what we've been doing over the last year. If you guys have subscribed to our YouTube channel, you may have noticed a new series has started called New England Haunts.
Yeah.
And what this show does is it showcases areas in New England that anyone can go to at any time. Well, not any time. Don't go at night, guys. Don't break in.
No trespassing.
Follow the rules. But these are all state parks or local areas that you're allowed to go to as long as you're respectful. All have either creepy lore, some really good history, lots of paranormal stuff. We filmed quite a few of those. We did 10 for the first season, are all done. Those come out twice a week now. We started, well, we didn't really film today, but we went to check out a place, but there's a lot of people, Gillette Castle down in Connecticut.
Should probably add that most of them are free.
Yep.
Some of them you have to pay for, but it's not really too pricey.
Yeah, it's like a $3 parking charge or something like that. So, we've done, actually I got the list right here. Spider Gates is episode 1. Spider Gates is a Quaker cemetery that's been around since late 1700s, I believe, early 1800s. And lots of paranormal claims. There's a tree where supposedly people have hung themselves. There's a man named Marmaduke who's buried there, and if you go around his gravestone 3 times at midnight and then say, Marmaduke, speak to me, supposedly you can hear his voice if you listen to his gravestone.
There's the 4 pillars.
The 4 pillars, and in the middle, nothing grows. They say satanic worship has been placed there. Lots of cool stories.
There's the, what was it, the cave? Or
the cave
mine?
that's nearby. They found the body of a teenage girl in the 80s. We're not going to tell you if any of this stuff is true or not. We know the truth behind this, so you guys watch our episode, go up there, check it out yourselves. Pretty cool spot. Just be super respectful. You know, the Quakers are kind enough to let people go there during the day, so don't vandalize them.
Yeah, they actually recently redid the sign.
Yep. They're cool with people. They said just don't go at night and try not to do any like official paranormal stuff there. You know, it is a cemetery. There are people laid to rest there. Then we went to the Rutland Prison camps, which is in Rutland, Mass. It was a prison camp, surprisingly enough. Beginning of the century, It was built to house inmates. Nothing's too serious crime-wise. I think it was like burglaries and
Yeah,
stuff like that.
small
No, like
stuff.
murders or anything. But it was actually a farm, too, and the prisoners would work the farms to provide dairy and produce and stuff for the local community. And they closed it down only like 20 years into
Yeah.
it because it was built on
Was it
an
the
aqueduct
was it
system.
90s or
No, I think they actually shut it down in the 30s,
was it
and
the
it's been in
30s really?
ruins since then. Yeah, but you can still see the ruins of the cells. There's a big long hall built into the side of a hill, which I'm guessing is maybe a storage or like a barn type
It was
thing.
definitely slightly underwhelming.
Yeah,
It seems like it'd be a lot more to it or bigger than what it was. There's like different sections, but
but
it was cool. But
when we posted pictures of that on our Facebook, someone actually posted a picture of a map, and I guess there are
yeah,
more ruins.
that's right.
But we went in the middle of summer, the beginning of spring. We went a couple times. We went during tick season, so we didn't want to go through the tall grass. But supposedly there is more to see if you know where to look. I don't know. Every time we've gone there, we haven't really been too adventurous.
No.
Then we did the Madame Sharif Forest up in, it's not Brattleboro, Vermont, but it's like a town or two over. The story behind this is there was a lady who used to make dresses for Broadway, very elaborate dresses. And yeah, she was a dressmaker for Broadway. And she built a kind of like a little mini castle in the middle of the forest to entertain all her friends. Like all her friends from the area or even from New York would come up and they'd have like big elaborate balls and parties and stuff. And as she got older, she couldn't move around too much. So they put her like in a nursing home or something.
Yeah.
And while she was gone, kids would just break in and vandalize. And in the 60s, I believe it burnt down. So the only thing left is like the big staircase, the basement, and then like the fireplace. The claims are that you can see her on the stairs at night and stuff. Definitely like I didn't get a creepy vibe. Like for me, it
No.
felt like almost like a fantasy movie, like Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
Like
definitely.
like you see like fairies and elves and stuff dancing around there. It was really cool. Like if you guys are into like cool photo shoot areas, like this is definitely a place to go check out. It's a state park.
And it's actually in New Hampshire. But it's kind of like on the line type of Vermont, New Hampshire. It's in New Hampshire.
Yeah, it's right
It's
on like
west,
yeah,
West Chesterfield.
West okay, yeah, because we went up to Brattleboro and then we went right next town over,
Yeah,
and
we
then we
went
saw
around.
the fireworks, which we cannot say we did not buy, but we're not going to admit to anything. But yeah, it's a cool spot. You know, go up there. It's like what a 2-minute walk off the
Yeah.
parking lot. It's really close.
Go
There's other
around,
stuff.
you go over a bridge, around a pond, up a hill, and
Yeah,
it's literally right there.
like I want to go up there in the fall. I'm sure when the leaves are all turning, it must look amazing. Because in the middle of summer, it was awesome. And the Rockhouse Reservation, it's kind of a cool place. Like it's in our backyard, so it's where Native Americans used to meet up. It's big rock formations that were formed by glacial movements and stuff. Just really another cool area. It's like not really caves, but these giant rocks that like have made almost like giant ass lean-tos.
Yeah.
Like
And then it goes to the butterfly.
yeah, the butterfly sanctuary
Yes.
is up there too.
It is definitely a cool place that people that aren't from around here, when they find out about it, they definitely want to go to it and check it out.
Yeah, but for us, I've been there literally. Like
Yeah,
I go there
grew
every
up
week
going there.
to hang out, hike, whatever. Then we have the Dana Common. One thing we didn't actually touch on in the episode because we didn't find the actual location. It's a little off the path. Is the first area of interest is Popcorn Snow's old house. So local legend about this guy is he was like just like a not really like a hermit, but like kind of off, and he had a house up there, and I believe if I can remember the story properly now, his wife and his kid both died, and he kind of became a recluse after that. And they call him Popcorn Snow because after they died, he lived strictly on a diet of nothing but popcorn and milk. But he had some money saved up, and when he died, he had it set up where he wanted to have a steel coffin built with a glass viewing window for his face. And local legend is that they put him in there when he died. They left him in the house overnight. There was a big snowstorm, so when it was finally clear enough, they went up there. No footsteps in the snow or anything, but they finally got to the house, opened it up, and the casket was still sealed, but no one was in there. So, you know, cool little ghost story. Supposedly, there's a certain day in November. If you go there, EVPs are supposed to be ridiculous. Like, you can have legit, full-on conversations.
We went in, I think it was September, August, something like that.
Yeah,
We did like a little small investigation outside, but
yeah. But, yeah, so this old Dana Common, that's the first thing. Second is the Dana Common, which was, for those of you not from our area, we have this place called the Quabbin Reservoir. And what that is like the 1930s or so, they got rid of 7 towns in Massachusetts and flooded it. And it has a gravity-fed aqueduct system that actually pumps drinking water to the Boston area. So Dana was one of the towns, but it was actually above water level, so there's still the foundations and stuff. And off the side is Wendell's grave.
Yep.
If you want to touch on that, do you know the story?
More or less that a guy was was it a farmhouse? I think they had a farmhouse, and his kid ended up dying, and he just buried him on the land.
Yep, and as far as I know, that's the only body that's still in the Quabbin. They supposedly moved them all. I've seen poltergeists. I know that's usually BS.
They claim they took them all, but supposedly there are unmarked graves all around, and they couldn't find them, so they just left them.
Yep.
So if erosion ever happens...
there'd be some poltergeist stuff coming up, the pool scene all over again. And then the last cool point of that little trail, it's about a 4-hour hike round trip if you walk it. Pretty level. You don't have to worry about hills or anything.
One thing, though, finding that grave is not easy.
Yeah, it's all overgrown with ferns.
And it's in the middle of nowhere. Like, it's nowhere near the trail.
Yep. But GPSs are good now. Everyone's phone
If you get service, because we did not.
The last section is the plane crash, which is super cool because you just walk down the service road, and then there's a trail, and then there's a giant crater with pieces of an airplane everywhere. Like this guy, Dewey Durrett, he was doing some testing, flying out of Westfield, I believe.
Yeah.
And one of his engines failed. So he ejected, and plane went down. There was no explosion, so he thought it went into the water. And then 5 years later, someone was actually hiking up there and found the ruins of the plane, and it's still all up there. Everything but the black box. But there's like pieces of engine, wings. It's pretty cool.
I think the cockpit, it's actually still there, too.
Yeah, it's literally every little piece. You can see wires hanging out. The only thing that wasn't there was the rubber on the tires, but it's probably rotted. Bancroft Tower is another cool spot that's in Worcester. It's like a little mini castle. It's a memorial for Mr. Bancroft, who was in the Navy. He rose pretty high in ranks. Hoosac Tunnel. I'm going to kind of fly through the rest of these. I don't want to bore the listener. That's right, listener. There's probably one of you out there. Thanks for listening, Mom. Hoosac Tunnel is a train tunnel that goes from Adams or North Adams, Massachusetts, to the town of Florida, Massachusetts. Goes almost 5 miles through the mountain. 200 men died making it. And they had this really bad accident one day where they had this giant shaft from the middle that went up to the top of the mountain for exhaust fumes and stuff. And the fumes ignited, caused a huge explosion, and trapped 20-some-odd people inside. And they tried to rescue them. They couldn't. So then they wasted some time doing other stuff. And then when they finally got back to the area and started clearing the rubble, they realized the guys that were in there had lived the whole time, and they made a bunch of makeshift rafts to float on the water, and they died very slow, drawn out deaths in the pitch black. So, yeah, cool.
There's always that.
Yeah. Houghton Mansion. If you don't know what Houghton Mansion is, put on like Ghost Adventures or something. Everyone knows that. It's actually off limits now as far as going inside, but you can walk up to the sidewalks and stuff, take some cool pictures. Old Newgate Prison, one of the first prisons in the U.S. Actually, I think it was the first considered the very first. It was an old copper mine that yielded no copper, so they made it into a prison, and they would just have the prisoners live in the caves, where it's damp as hell down there. It's a constant, 52 degrees down there.
A lot of them, and like a lot of the parts are flooded.
Yeah, they would just live down there, and during the day, they'd put them up on the surface to make like nails and stuff. But like supposedly it was like super easy to escape, so they had so many dudes escaped here. Some like would kill guards to get out, but others would literally just like hop the wall.
Yeah, the wall wasn't really like anything special, honestly.
But the cave system's awesome. It's now run by the State Park Division of Connecticut. It's like $10 to get in. You get to check out all the caves. There's all the old foundations of the buildings. Super cool place. The cave alone is worth it. We learned some cool stuff about bats there too.
Yep.
There is a fungus
bacteria.
that only affects bats. They called it like white nose disease or something.
Yeah.
And what it does is it grows these spores on these bats, which eventually like shut down their lungs or something. And they were telling us that, like, we had to wipe our feet as we were leaving. And they said if we went into any other cave systems, we can't wear the same shoes or clothes because even after washing, those spores will stay on your stuff. And if you bring them to other caves, you can kill the bats, which are a huge part of the ecosystem, taking care of pest like mosquitoes and stuff. And then the last one of this season we shot was the Erie House ruins on top of Mount Tom. There was a 5-star hotel made in the 1800s. If you see photos of this, it's a beautiful place. And the guy who took care of it, 2 of the horses had died, so he had started a funeral pyre. And he accidentally burnt down the whole fucking hotel. The only thing left is the stone foundation, which is like some arches. It's not like super big. It's a good hike. So if you're doing this hike, don't listen to your GPS. Just drive to the Mount Tom Reservation.
And there is a parking fee.
Yeah. But there's like beaches and stuff up there. GPS took us down some road where we had to walk miles up this horrible trail just to find a parking lot, which was right off the main road.
Yep. It is still kind of a hike up to the place, though.
Yeah. Definitely worth it though, just for the view alone. Like you see, what's that, Connecticut River maybe that goes through there? Like it's just breathtaking up there.
There's not really that much left of the ruins, but it's something to see, and the archways are pretty cool. Mm-hmm. So it's definitely worth it.
So yeah, that's it for the season 1. We got some more stuff in queue for filming for the next season of this. These episodes are all short. They range about 1 minute and 15 seconds long. We know no one has any attention span nowadays, so we try to do it as short and sweet as possible.
They're just mainly in like informative stuff.
Yeah.
To give you also something to do.
Basically, the rundown we just gave you kind of hear the same spiel on every episode, but you see some cool videos and pictures. So yeah, we got some more hopefully coming soon. Big shout out to atlasobscura.com.
Very helpful.
Check them out. They are an awesome website. They will show you can put in your location, and they will just show you every cool, creepy, unique place in the area. Like, there's a place in the area near us I didn't never heard of called Pony Stonehenge or Ponyhenge or something like that. And what it is in the middle of a field somewhere. Those like little like horses you had as a kid that were like on the springs they bounce up and down. One day someone woke up and there's just hundreds of them arranged in like a certain pattern.
That really actually sounds familiar.
Yeah, and like I never knew that existed. And like we found a lot of cool stuff in our backyard. Like we drive every weekend to one of these places. Like today was a long trip and we only drove an hour and a half. Usually it's like 20, like Rutland Prison Camp is 25 minutes away. Like Rockhouse is 2 minutes up the road. So yeah, check out Atlas Obscura. Definitely some cool stuff on there. And if you have cool places too, try to get them to throw it up on their site.
Technically, we haven't done anything yet, but we do have more Tech Talk episodes to
Yes.
film.
Oh yeah. So we can talk about that. We got all sorts of new gear. We got about a dozen pieces of new equipment. Some stuff you may have seen on other shows, some big things. Then some stuff we've kind of developed ourselves. We got some new experimental pieces. We're not going to break those out just yet. We're not going to ruin the surprise, but you can actually see us use one of these new pieces of equipment on drumroll. You're the drummer. Give me drumroll. We were on TV. So if you didn't hear that we were on there, like you obviously don't follow our social media because we blew that shit up. But we actually got contacted back in February by Morningstar Productions to appear in the premiere episode of the CW's Mysteries Decoded. So this show, hosted by Jennifer Marshall, every episode she has a co-host as well. We get to investigate the Lizzie Borden house for them, and the co-host was Stephanie Bingham. Her and Jen were awesome. The whole staff was incredible. But we got to use our SLS camera for the first time on a show. We've used it like in trial because we actually built our own. We played with it a little bit here and there, but this was our first like recorded experience, and we got some crazy evidence with that. Unfortunately, the episode could only be so long. There's other people involved in it, so all our good stuff didn't get shown as much as we liked. You did see some stuff, but like there was a lot of craziness that happened. Definitely an active location.
Yes. I think we actually got more than Ghost Adventures. Yeah,
so like it was crazy. Like everything we did, like we got spirit boxes like crazy, thermal hits like crazy. SLS was nonstop. But it was our first time working with a network, with a production company.
Yeah, an actual crew, a sound guy.
Yeah, like we had to like sign like NDAs, which are non-disclosure agreements, so we couldn't even talk about it until after it aired.
Because we were contacted in February.
We filmed in April.
Yep.
And it came out August 13th.
Was it 13th, 14th?
13th, yeah.
13th, yeah.
So, yeah, we had to be quiet about this shit for months. And then, like, we did pretty good holding our secrets. And
my family actually didn't even know.
Yeah.
Surprisingly.
Yeah, we got the okay to talk about it the week before it aired, and we just went crazy on social media. Yeah, it was an awesome experience. We'll kind of run through, like, the behind the scenes for those guys that are interested in hearing what it's like doing these TV shows. Yeah, so they contacted us in February. They really liked me and Anthony. They liked our style and whatnot. So we had to do a Skype interview, and we nailed it. And then it was like a day later, they said, you guys are in. We'll let you know the shoot dates as we get closer. And then April, they emailed us our, what the hell is that
contracts?
Thing? Well, not the contract, the thing under it, the itinerary, not the itinerary, the call sheet.
Yeah.
Which is it's just a big printout of who's got to be where at what time, what location, what hotels everyone's in. So yeah, we kind of showed up early,
like 4 or 5 hours,
because we were excited, like. So yeah, we showed up there, and the producer James Millican, who's an awesome guy. What's up, James? If you're listening, we met him first, and they were running a little late shooting, so like he told us to go grab some food, and like they paid for all that stuff, which was super nice. And yeah, when they were ready for us, he just texted. He's like, "Oh, just park out back and meet the PA," which in film terms is the production assistant. They're like the people that do all the running around, all the, I don't want to say bitch work, but it's pretty much you're paid to be a bitch. Nothing against that, because like you're doing this cool stuff, going to all these places. So I don't remember her name, but she came out and she brought us to makeup. That was kind of weird. Remember that? We're like, we got to go do makeup. And we met Juliet Loveland, who did our makeup. It was just some powder and stuff to take the shine off. But she has done so many big movies. She did Planet of the Apes, like, I can't even, one of the Halloweens. Like, she is like a big name makeup person in Hollywood. Coolest chick in the world. We got along pretty well with her. And, it's kind of funny when we first got there. We do our makeup, and this guy came over, and introduces himself as Gary, and we're just hanging out in Lizzie Borden's kitchen with this dude, just shooting the shit. And he looks at me, he goes, "Oh, you look like you play music. Are you a musician?" I'm like, "Yeah, I play guitar." And he's like, "Oh, me too." And he looks at Anthony, he goes, "What about this guy? He's probably like a drummer, right?" And we're like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Oh, the director's a drummer too." So the director comes over, and like for a little bit, we kind of, for those who don't play music, guitarists and drummers always have this like joking around back and forth, like, because guitar's always the front guy. Drums are super important; they're the whole rhythm. But like we always pretend that they're no one, That's the running joke. So
no, that's actually the bass player.
Yeah, they don't count at all. So yeah, it was me and Gary picking on. Eric was the director, I believe. Was that his name?
I can't remember his name.
But yeah, just like joking back and forth, and it was cool. Gary went to show me a picture on his phone. And as he's swiping through, there's a picture of him and Gene Simmons, like, sitting down eating dinner. And we're like, "Yo, like, is that Gene Simmons?" He's like, "Oh, yeah, he's one of my best friends." And, like, I'm not saying, like, this guy was, like, bragging. Like, he said it so nonchalant. But, like, these pictures, like, him and his wife are eating dinner at Gene Simmons' house. So it's kind of cool how the universe works, too. We were sitting there, and he's like, "Oh, so where are you guys from?" And we say, "Massachusetts." And he's, "Oh, well, where in Mass?" And we're like, "Western Mass." He goes, "Yeah, where?" And we're like, "A town called Ware." And he looks at us, he smiles, he goes, "Yeah, I'm from Long Meadow originally," which is 20-minute drive from us. So,
yeah,
like,
roughly.
Cool story about Gary is, I'll cut to the end right here, is as we were leaving the second day, we went to say bye to everyone and thank them. And he shook our hands and gets out of his chair. He's like, "Oh, you guys were great. We're so happy to have you. Want to work with you guys again." He's like, "I'm going to give you my card. Keep in touch." This was the guy. He's the president of Morningstar, the entertainment company. So, like, such a laid back dude. Like, he wasn't bragging. And, like, he's from our own backyard. Pretty rad. Like, actually, it was the Sunday after we filmed, he emailed us that he was actually in our town eating at this summer restaurant up the street because his family loves it and he was in the area. But yeah, so then we met Jen. Jen is pretty cool. Like, she's been in Stranger Things, Hawaii Five-0, a bunch of movies and stuff. She's got another movie coming out real soon. Now she's got this show, which is doing pretty good. Like, last week it was the third top viewed show in that time slot. But yeah, we had to meet we had to get all mic'd up and stuff.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah, like they put the mics under your shirt with a special tape, and like this guy Damon had this like, I don't even want to call it a fanny pack because it was huge. It was like a suitcase hanging off the front of him, and he was a shorter guy too. And like this thing was a beast. So like this guy's got some strong ass legs, but it was just filled with these controllers for everyone's mic pack. Individually records to its own thing.
He was actually the old sound tech for Ghost Hunters.
Yep.
Actually.
Yep. Him and one of his buddies were the two main sound guys back in the day. So yeah, like it was pretty cool. We got all mic'd up, and then broke out some equipment, and we shot our intros and stuff, and just all around a really cool experience being behind the scenes, because like you see us on camera, there's the four of us, but like what you don't see is
like the 20 people behind us.
Yeah, like downstairs. So we had the DP, the director of photography, which is your main camera guy, Octay.
Yes.
He was the DP. And then there was a secondary camera guy. Then there was Damon, who was doing the sound. Then they had makeup, the director, who at one point grabbed a camera.
There was a network executive.
Yeah, a network executive from the CW showed up halfway through and like was filming us with his phone and stuff. Like he was loving it.
There was like 10 other people that we didn't even meet.
Yeah, like it's just pretty cool. And like, you break every so often for food, and like they send the PA out and she comes back with like 30 pizzas, and like, yeah, it's just an all around cool experience. Like seeing how these, you watch these on TV all the time, and it's just 45 minutes. Like we were there.
Overall, we probably were there for a good,
if you count from the time we pulled up to the time we went to the hotel, like 8 hours.
8 hours, and 4 hours of it was like shooting.
Yeah.
More or less.
It took a couple breaks here and there. We shot a lot of intro stuff. Like I said, a lot of stuff got cut. Like there was a whole segment we did in the basement.
The whole segment on the first floor.
Yep. The cool piece of evidence is we were on the first floor, and Anthony laid on the couch where Mr. Borden was murdered in the same position. And as soon as he did, our SLS camera picked up a stick figure, jumped out of Anthony, and kind of like jumped on the edge of the couch and was like kind of like, "Whoa, what are you doing? Get out of here!" I remember the secondary camera guy, when we were up there, we heard that woman talking in the room when there was no one there. And like the camera guys aren't supposed to talk. And he got scared. He's like, "Dude, I hear the woman talking right now." So lots of cool shit.
It was definitely nerve-wracking though, because we are not actors.
Yeah.
In any sense.
Yeah. Luckily, it was very natural. We didn't know what to expect going in there, but they kind of let us just do our own thing, and we filmed, and originally we were only slated to record for from 8 to 10.
Yeah, and we didn't stop until like 1 a.m.
Yeah, because we left at 2 and we got to the hotel at like 2:30, and then we had to transfer all the footage. We used our cameras for a lot, like the night vision and then the SLS. But yeah, it was just crazy seeing like all the big equipment and like just the crew of people needed to do a big production, and like it was weird. Like I remember walking into Lizzie Borden's house. I've heard about this place my whole life. We all know the nursery rhyme. We've all seen the movies and the TV specials, miniseries, all that stuff, and seen it on like Ghost Adventures. Walked in, it was literally just a house. Like I did not feel creeped out in any way. I think it was like the fact that there were so many people there, and like
it was actually smaller than what I was expecting.
Yeah, it was.
It wasn't very big.
And let me tell you, no offense to anyone that lives in Fall River, but that place is a fucking ghetto. Like, Lizzie Borden's house is now surrounded by like parking garages and like not like skyscrapers, but like big brick buildings, and definitely locked our doors as we were driving through there. There's I know a few people that used to live there, and they say it's gone downhill. But like we went to the cemetery where she was buried and stuff, which is up on the Rich Hill they used to call or whatever. And we ran into these two guys that recognized us from our YouTube channel, which is weird out of all places, Fall River, and they got pictures and stuff. Thank you guys for making us feel important. But yeah, the whole like production thing, like a lot goes into it, so appreciate it when you see it on TV. Like watch those credits, because there's a lot of people involved, like not to mention the guys that do all the research, all that stuff, the casting guy, like the guy that even reached out to us, like that we just saw him on a Skype interview and that was it. But like
basically you're seeing 2 people on TV or 4 people on TV, but you're not seeing the 20 to 30 people behind it making it all happen.
Yep. And then all the people doing the editing.
Yeah, it's not what you like. I'm sure obviously people know, but it's not what you think it is. Like, it definitely opened, I guess, like, perspective-wise, like, what it takes to actually make a full-on show or a movie.
Yeah, which is weird because when we do our web show, it's literally me and you.
Yeah, doing everything.
We do the book and the edit and the review is like.
I mean, obviously, our shit's nothing compared to, like, an actual
Yeah.
full-on thing, but there's a lot more to it. It actually would be nice having all that help.
Yeah.
Instead of running around doing everything ourselves.
I don't know. I have a feeling that that's not the end of our big stuff, you know?
Yeah.
I have a feeling something big's coming soon. So we'll see, you know? But, yeah, it was very humbling at the same time. Like, you know, like made me appreciate all the hard work that we've done as well as the team, you know? Like just in general, like, you know, a lot of hard work. That was 10 years in the making, us getting there. And it's nice to know hard work does pay off eventually. Because I was about ready to be like, yo, like, fuck this. Like, can't even get subscribers on the YouTube. But, yeah, so it seems like paranormal stuff is making a huge resurgence on TV. I kind of research every once in a while, about once or twice a week. I kind of just hop on and see what's coming in for new shows and stuff. And a couple months ago, I read an article talking about over the period of the 2 months around the time I read that, that something like 20 paranormal shows had been picked up by networks. Travel Channel had picked up like 4 or 5. A&E had picked up a couple, named a couple other channels. And, you know, I've heard a little chatter here and there from other people saying that a lot of these networks are now doubling down on paranormal stuff because it's making a huge resurgence. I don't know what caused that. Like, is it technology's getting better, or is it like, I don't know? Because one of the big things we didn't talk about is Ghost Hunters is back on the air now.
No comment.
Yeah, Anthony's not a fan, but it's just kind of crazy that like the show that ended 10 years ago is now back. Totally different crew now. Watched the first couple episodes. It's same show pretty much. I'm gonna watch a couple more. I don't know how I feel yet about the new team. You know, I've only seen 2 episodes, so. But you know, that show's back. Ghost Brothers have a new show.
Yep, they're doing good.
Yeah, their new show's pretty good actually. Ghost Adventure's still going strong.
It's never gonna end.
They're never going to, like, we're gonna see Zach bald and gray mustache, Aaron in a wheelchair one day. And they're still gonna be going
His
through these
girlfriend
places.
will be pushing him on camera.
Yeah, but I love those guys. What other the Wraith Chasers? They got
Tennessee,
Haunted Towns or whatever. What the hell's the name of their show? They got a new show. It's doing pretty good too.
Now I see Mike always posting about people doing investigations with them. Is that on part of their show, or is that something on the side?
No, a lot of these guys do it on the side.
Because I know Dustin's doing it.
Well. Dustin does it. Nick Groff does a lot of these things where, like, you can buy tickets. Small groups will investigate with a well-known paranormal guy, which is kind of cool. Like, you get a chance of that'd be like if you're a baseball fan and you could buy a ticket to play a fucking game of baseball with like a big famous baseball person like Larry Bird.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm a sports fan, if you can tell.
It's like playing basketball with Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Like, I would shit my pants.
Yeah, like for real. Like if I ever had a chance to investigate with like any of these dudes, like it would be a fucking honor, you know. Like, but at the same time, I'm hoping one day like people would say that about me, you know.
We can't forget fucking Belanger though.
Yeah, no, shout out
to
the
guy is never home.
Yeah, he is a powerhouse in this. He's always traveling, getting new locations for ghost adventures, as well as doing his own stuff. You know, pushing his books. And
where was he last? Peru.
He was in Peru. I don't know what's going on in Peru. Like he was in Peru for a while. He was just at the Paracon with Dustin Perry.
Yep.
I know he's working on a new book. Yeah, that guy's always busy. He's never home. You know, that's the dream right there, just to be able to do what you love and make a living doing it. Be nice. So, yeah, I don't know. Like, what do you think is causing this huge resurgence of...
It certainly ain't movies.
Yeah, like, these movies are, like... The movies are getting worse and worse.
I don't know. I think I made a comment in the last one about what the fuck is James Wan doing, because I don't know what he's doing now.
Yeah, you were just talking about... I haven't seen it yet, but La Llorona, you said
La Llorona, whatever the hell it is. Like, it is... If people think the Annabelle movie sucked, I don't even know what the fuck he was thinking on this. And I think he's got another Annabelle movie actually coming out, which actually looks halfway decent. The last one was okay.
We said that about The Nun, and I can't even get 10 minutes into that movie. Like, you know, they're messing with the actual lore of these real cases. Conjuring 3 is supposed to be coming out sometime eventually. I know what I read, it's about a court trial about a guy who killed someone, and his claim is he was possessed by the devil when he did it.
Basically, they're just going off the track with this shit. Yeah, you got to make movies interesting, but they're just blowing the stories way out of proportion.
Which is crazy because these stories that we have are already amazing. Like
Yeah.
if they just did straight up Frenchie, the Satan's Harvest story, we touched on that back in other podcasts. But basically, this guy in the town of Warren, which is about 5 minutes from us, Sam actually lived right down the road from him. In the 80s, he got possessed by the devil, and the Warrens actually performed an exorcism on him. First exorcism, not sanctioned by the church. And if you go on YouTube, you can actually see the actual footage, which isn't, it's legit. You know, it's a camcorder from like 84, 85, I think the exorcism was. You see this guy's eyes turn totally white. He starts getting scales on his face. Big cut on his forehead opens up, starts pouring out blood, and then everything just goes back to normal.
Why don't you just make a movie about that?
Yeah.
Instead of twisting them and throwing
Because
them in
there's so many elements.
He
Like,
threw him in the nun.
the superhuman strength, like the doppelganger. He was one of the first recorded cases of actual doppelgangers. Like, if you get the book is impossible to find. It only came out in circulation like late
Which
80s, early Satan's Harvest.
I have it.
Yeah, if you
One
get
of
a
the
chance.
original pressings.
Yeah, I borrowed it from someone. There's a local used bookstore, and I talked to the guy, and he says they can't keep it in there. Like, there's a waiting list for if that one comes in. There's actually a book about another case in like Sturbridge or Southbridge or something. I'll have to look into that, but another big paranormal thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got all these crazy cases of like true documented, like shit your pants scary type stuff, and people are going for the jump scares and stuff and changing the stories.
So what happened to the Crooked Man? Wasn't that? I haven't heard anything other than it's getting made, and that was it.
Yeah, I think a lot of these got
I don't
lost
know
in
if that's-
production limbo.
Yeah, I think
like,
it was last year. There was supposed to be some big thing, and I don't
Yeah.
think it ever happened.
But something did come out. I gotta watch it. My favorite books as a kid, Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark.
I heard that it was amazing.
And it seems like there's like 4 or 5, 6 stories in it.
Yeah.
And there's only one that wasn't in the books, and that's the Jangly Man. But the makeup alone looks just like... I watched a little special on YouTube about how they used the original artist depictions of these creatures, because like literally you only have one picture for every monster. And they made these makeups look terrifying.
I don't want to butcher his last name. It's Norman Cabrera. He did an amazing job. He actually, what the hell? What is she called? I assume you would know. I don't.
Oh, that's the big toe one, yeah.
Yeah.
They actually they do a side by side and then an overlay with the original drawing and the makeups, and
he also did this guy.
yeah, Harold the Scarecrow.
Yeah, he did an amazing job.
That was my favorite story. So if you guys aren't familiar with these books, when we were kids, remember we're old as shit. Me and Anthony, we're in the 30s. I'm closer to the 40s now, but in the 80s we had these books that we had these things called book fairs, and like you would get these little like 2-page colored, like bright colored brochures that would have just books listed with prices, and they had like a little like shopping list on the back. So you would bring it home, and your parents would give you like quarters and dollars because the books were like $1.
If your parents would do that,
Yeah.
Mine would not.
But you would check off which ones you want, and then one day, surprisingly, like you'd hold on to this thing at your desk for what seemed like weeks. And then one day you'd be in class and they'd go, oh, by the way, the book fair is here today.
Yep.
And you would lose your fucking mind. Like, it was like...
I think they actually called it like the bookmobile at one point, too.
Yeah.
And
What they would do is, like, they would just take an auditorium, and it was set up like... It looked like a carnival to me. Like, it was just, like, booths with, like, books and, like, toys, little rubber erasers shaped like animals.
I think you would get the little things that you put in the water, and they would grow.
Yeah, they had everything, and you would just go from booth to booth, be like, oh, this is the one on my checklist, this is on my checklist. And you would just go home with piles of books. I used to get Ducktail comics all the time. But, in the 80s, these books called out. The first one was called Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. And the second one was More Scary Stories. And then even more, I think was the third. But it has the most chilling artwork ever. It's straight up nightmare fuel. And they're all short stories. I think they're all kind of derived from, like, German folklore and stuff.
Yeah.
But these stories are literally, like, a page to 3 pages long. And they're kind of like not very descriptive. They're very vague, but that's as kids, we would like try to be brave enough to read these at night or at sleepovers with friends. And it would be terrifying, but you would just read through these and like you would have these nightmares of Harold the Scarecrow, which in the books, he like flays one of the brothers and stretches his skin out on the roof to dry. Another story about a guy who was like killing villagers and making them into sausage and feeding them to people. And stories kids should not be fucking reading like at like 8 years old.
But shit that fucking happens in real life.
Yeah, and like there's a couple knockoffs now. I just picked one up at a used bookstore for my nephew. It's some knockoff, and it's still similar artwork, similar stories, but those original three, they re-released them a couple years ago with new artwork, which is fucking sacrilegious. The artwork doesn't do it justice. Like the guy who drew it. So these books were originally the three books are written by Alvin Schwartz, and the guy who did the artwork is Stephen Gamble, and it's just like these like very crude, not abstract, but it's just like black and gray on just white. It's not even white; it's like an off white, and it's just like.
And that's all they had actually to bring the characters to life. And
yeah, one picture if you were lucky. Like I don't know.
They're flat images, not even 2D, not even 3D. Like most of them, I don't even think some of them they even had like a lower half.
Yeah, like some of them, like I know they didn't put it in the movie, but the sausage story, it was literally just like a severed arm holding a fork with a bite of food on it, and that was the one. But even that one scared the fuck out of me, dude. Like I remember, like I would try to read them at night, and I'd be too afraid. I'd have to read them during the day when the sun was out, and like I knew people were around. And then like you'd be laying in bed, and you look over like your nightstand, and the book was there, and you're like, oh shit, the book is out. Like I gotta hide that. Like it was terrifying. Maybe that's why I'm so fucked up in the head. It's because like I used to read these. Every one of the books had a song in the back that you could learn.
Oh yeah.
The Her song was in one. Another one had it's an old Irish song about these two Irish guys that are like dead next to each other, and they don't know that the other guy's dead. Like it's just crazy. It has like the sheet music with it. Yeah, Alvin Schwartz, what the fuck were you thinking giving that to kids? That should have been for like adults.
Yeah, well, he is German.
Yeah. So, bravo to those guys.
Sounds like
it's gotta be. And if it's all German folklore, you know, or Austrian maybe, somewhere from one.
Schwarzenegger.
But thank you guys for terrifying me as a child, and hopefully this movie's good when we go check it out. So we've talked about this before as well. We have a documentary in the works. We have filmed the last couple scenes we needed, I believe. Now it's just a lot of cutting it down.
Rearranging, putting things together.
It's about our trip up to St. Albans and the growth of the team, the changes. There have been some changes to the team. Lauren has gone and started a little paranormal group down in her area. She lives quite a ways from us, so her and her brother-in-law Gary have started Crypt, which is Connecticut River Paranormal Team. They're concentrating on helping people like houses, families, stuff like that. They're doing pretty good. Well, they were. Gary, unfortunately, was like in a crazy fucking accident.
I wouldn't even call it an accident, though.
It was a freak thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Gary was walking his dog, and some drunk guy at 4 p.m. ran him over. And, like, Gary got messed up. Gary did camera work for us on an episode. He's a great guy. He's out of commission for a while. Like, Gary, if you're listening, we wish you a fast and speedy recovery. Much love to you and your family. But yeah, once Gary's healed up, I'm sure they're going to jump back in. They were pretty busy before that. So check those guys out too. They're on Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff. So yeah, those guys are doing great stuff. Tim is off doing his own ventures at this time. He's doing some cleansings and stuff. Totally different nature than what we usually do. So, so right now it's just Anthony and myself are kind of just doing these other little side projects like the New England Haunts.
Things that we've been kind of had in the works that we didn't have time to get to.
We started filming these. The first one we filmed was 2 years ago. So we've been sitting on footage for this project. We had some other stuff.
Yeah, we had a couple other things too that we were doing. I don't even remember what they are now.
So we're taking this downtime. We're not going to jump into the third season of the web series yet. We want to get the stuff out of the way. The documentary is a big thing, like you get to see the behind the scenes a little more, like what goes through with one of these, a little more us as people, not so much as like investigators.
It's personal.
Yeah.
I guess, on a personal
level.
It's
a different kind of animal. But
kind of like how the podcasts are compared to like the web show.
Yeah, and we're trying to get these podcasts more frequently too. It's just we've been so busy with all this other stuff and work and whatnot. I decided to pretty much remodel my whole place. Don't think because you watch HGTV a couple times you know how to do this stuff because it took me way too long and I'm not 100% happy with a lot of it. But
it's Tim the Tool Man over here.
Yep.
Home Improvement.
Yeah.
So I guess that makes me Al.
Yeah. So yeah, just so you know, life's kind of been holding us back from other stuff. So we're kind of trying to get back into the swing of things. Glad to see the other team members are doing things on their own now, staying productive. I think Lauren's working on some more writing stuff too. I know she's very knowledgeable about the area as far as like local haunts and stuff. She's actually given us like tips and places in the area before. So, but yeah, just trying to get this crap out of the way. The 10 episodes, like we said, are shot for New England Haunts. I think we have 3 left to edit.
Yep.
So, but yeah, those are coming out every twice a week. These podcasts, damn, there's so much crap to do.
Then
The new gear, we've been working on new
I
gear
was gonna say the
too.
new gear, we got to start working on more and start filming for the new gear.
Yeah. So yeah, hopefully something will happen soon and we'll get some stuff going so you guys can be entertained. But in the meantime, like we said, check out Connecticut River Paranormal Team on the Facebook, the Instagram. Check out our episode of Mysteries Decoded. I say it like it's our episode, like we're the stars.
Oh, we are on it.
Yeah. There's a quick shot of me in the intro, and then about 40 minutes in, we got about a 10, 12-minute segment.
Yeah, something like that.
But like I said, they had to cut down a lot of fat off of that. Like, if they could have showed all the stuff, it would have been just 2 hours easy.
How long? About an hour was the episode?
Yeah, the hour. Well, if you cut out commercial stuff, they're about 45 minutes.
Yeah, so it definitely would have been well over an hour with all the stuff they cut out.
But
it didn't include.
It was totally awesome working with Jen and Stephanie.
Yep.
Follow those guys on the social medias too. They both do amazing work. Stephanie, I think, is going to be on another episode or 2, maybe, of this series. Is she?
I believe we can't really say the episodes.
Yeah.
I know of at least one other. I believe there's a second one.
Yeah.
So
She's
3 total.
always doing stuff anyway. She's been on other big things. Like with the paranormal, like the way mediums and stuff are. Like we've worked with some in the past. We have the ones we use for our show, which we believe 100%. Stephanie is fantastic. Like one of the most professional mediums we've worked with. Very personable.
100% legitimate.
Yeah,
too.
like there's stuff you don't see in the episode, which she was picking up on, and like.
It was kind of like a back and forth. She'd say something and we'd confirm it. We'd say something, she would confirm it.
Yep.
There was nothing like fake about it.
Yeah, and Jen's a wonderful person too. She may have seemed a little not mean on the first episode, but she's trying to find proof, and she's not very much of a believer. So but she is off camera one of the most like sincere, nicest people. We watch her live feeds all the time. She always says hi to us. You've been talking back and forth with her a little bit, but great time all around working with this TW with Morningstar. I don't know. Like, what else we got to talk about? I feel like, just make sure you guys fucking subscribe to our shit already. We need these views. No, seriously, like if you guys can subscribe, log into your parents' account, subscribe. We're about halfway to what we need for sub counts for us to get monetized. Like, I don't want to sound like I'm out here begging for money, but if we start making money, we can start doing more elaborate, bigger places. So right now we only go to places that are free, that will let us in.
Yeah.
We started kind of scouting for a 3rd season, and
some of them are just way out of the price range, even if we were to pay.
Yeah, like this one place, they were all for it. But then the next day we got an email saying, "Oh, we want $2,000."
Which we didn't even pay that much for St. Albans.
Yeah,
come on.
We emailed back. We're like, "Yo, like we don't make money. We pay out of pocket for travel, hotels, all that shit."
We're actually a couple grand into this.
Couple grand.
Well, I'm personally in a couple.
Yeah,
grand.
I think if we added up all our gear and stuff, it's at least 10, if not more.
Yeah.
But
between the gear, the time, the traveling, the hotels, like. It's not free. Like, if people think we're doing this as like a little small hobby or a weekend warrior thing,
this is our lives.
This is definitely not the case. Like, this is a full on full-time job that we don't get paid for.
Yep.
We love doing it. It's not about the money, but being reimbursed with the money would be nice.
Yeah. Like we said, it's not about the money, but the money does get us to do more things. We decided
basically the money would go back into and fund what we are doing.
Yeah.
We wouldn't be getting rich off of
Yeah,
this.
after shooting 18 episodes, we realize like we will still investigate houses, but you will not see that. We will do that to help people, but as far as the web show goes, um, it does come down to view counts
and entertainment
and entertainment. And houses, more often than not, is just the family's personal lives, and it's a lot of times they don't want their dirty laundry aired anyways, and like. We'd rather just keep doing these big places for the web show and then do this on the side to help people out. Or, like I said, Lauren's team is now doing that full force.
Which kind of brings up another thing. Someone mentioned on our Facebook, I don't remember the exact words, but more or less asking if the stuff we post is real. Yes, everything is real. We do not fake anything.
Yep.
There is absolutely nothing fucking fake about what we do.
The only modifications you might see to footage is sometimes we will lighten up a scene or darken it to show the contrast a little better. But you will see the original version and then the edited version.
Nothing is fake about what we do. We do not fake anything.
We're not charlatans. We're not magicians. We do this. We do like to entertain, but at the same time, we are trying to. Well, I can't really call it scientifically prove, but like we're trying to.
We're legitimate.
Yeah,
it's all there is to it.
Yeah, like we will have episodes or times where we go and nothing happens. We're not gonna put something in just for ha-has. Like, I understand some people out there don't believe.
That's
some people
fine.
Never will believe. Like, hopefully one day we'll be able to like flat out prove that this stuff is real. But if you don't believe, respect us. Don't be dicks. Call us out on shit or like make fun of.
Oh, they can make fun of all they want.
Yeah,
it doesn't really matter. It's not going to change anything. But there's nothing fake about what we're doing.
Yeah, this is a passion of ours. We're going to keep doing it until we physically can't do it anymore.
This is a little realer than reality TV because reality TV is not real.
Yeah.
That is all fake and made up.
Yeah, Jersey Shore Paranormal. That's a new show. Yeah, what other kind of fucked up shows? Gordon Ramsay, like, judging paranormal teams, like, just screaming at their faces. Or the guy from Bar Rescue, John Taffet, like...
Which kind of brings up another thing. We've had other network interests from other shows asking us to go on and show our footage or talk about our experiences.
Yeah. We should probably touch on that just for like the people out there. Like
it's good for publicity, I guess, and like
sometimes contracts are so like
the contract's an issue because you can't do anything for months at a time with other people, and are we really going to benefit from it? Because it's like publicity is publicity and it's good for you, but it doesn't always work out in the favor or your favor or the way that they make it seem like it would. Like, just because you're doing something for publicity doesn't mean you're going to get famous off that or anyone's even going to see it.
Well, yeah, let's kind of touch on that for a little bit just because, there's other paranormal teams out there listening, wondering if they'll ever get to this, or even people that have other interests like dreams they're chasing. Like, stick with it, guys. Like we said, this has been 10 years in the making.
And then... Fuck anyone who says you can't do it or says you're not going to go anywhere.
The second you give up...
Whether it's your parents or your friends, fuck them.
The second you give up is the second you fail. And, there's been times where, like, I've felt like giving up, but I didn't. And I have to be very vague about some of this stuff, but back in October, I was actually approached by a major cable network, and I was supposed to do a show. And a week before filming, like, we booked flights and all that stuff, and a week before filming, it got scrapped. Speaking of the contracts, I was going to be locked into a contract for like 6 months after it aired. I wouldn't be able to do any other paranormal projects. Originally, it was supposed to be 18 months. We talked them down. We've had...
And then, oddly enough, a few weeks later, the CW called.
Yeah, so it worked out. So. We've had interviews as a team before with other networks. We've had like 2 or 3 over the last half of last year. I actually... was approached by the casting for the new Ghost Hunters, and had an audition for that, and I was trying to get me and Anthony in there, and it was one of those things. They said, "We'll let you know in 2 weeks." 3 weeks went by, and they actually took the extra week to decide, and like I was the runner-up for one of the guys, and which is good because like I told them I'd rather do it with my guys, and that was literally like, they said like like we want to do more stuff with you. Can we keep you on hold? And it was literally like a day later, me and Anthony were working on videos and we got the phone call, like literally a phone call, not even an email. Guy from CW or Morningstar, one of the guys called up, and that's when we had our audition for this show and we got it. So, and as we were leaving on film and they said they wanted to work with us again, or maybe eventually work on us getting our own show, So we'll see. Maybe something will happen. Like I said, don't give up on your dreams, guys. Like, keep pushing. There's going to be times where fucking life kicks you in the face.
Repeatedly.
Everyone's going to... Me and Anthony, like, if you could read our text messages back and forth, it's just us complaining about, like, oh, great, this setback happened today. This is happening tomorrow. Like, it's all a test. Like, it's going to get worse and worse as you go. What was it? Churchill that said, if you're going through hell, keep going. That's what this shit is. Like, if you give up, you give up. Like,
it's more or less proving that you really want it.
Yeah. Like, we've been fighting tooth and nail for 10 years now. We finally got somewhere big. That's not the end goal, but it is nice that we're getting bigger exposure now, which is going to open up more stuff for us. Like, it's so hard. Like, when we first started, we were doing 2 cases a year.
Yeah.
Now we're at our peak. We're doing 2 a month. I think we were even doing more at one point, and it was just burning us out. But like,
and it's tough trying not to be negative about it, but like trying to do stuff like this or trying to make a career out of something, no one gives a shit. No one wants to help you. No one cares. Like there are people, but even like your own friends won't even support you, and it's just like.
Yeah,
it sucks.
Don't let that discourage you guys. Like, if you want to try to become a pro athlete or a famous musician, whatever your dream is, this is where we get inspirational. I feel like Tony...
It's real life. Like, they don't teach you this shit in school. Like, hey, you're going to fail. No one's going to help you. No one's going to care. But just keep fucking doing it.
Hey, everybody.
Oh, God.
Mr. Boo here. Just reminding you, never give up on your dreams. Whoa!
But no, if you feel like you're meant for something more and you want to do whatever it is you're trying to do, fucking do it.
Do it. Don't let people hold you down. Don't let people talk you out of doing shit. People are going to laugh at you. They're going to tell you your fucking ideas are stupid. You're wasting your fucking time. You're wasting your money.
And everyone that has made it started off as a nobody.
Yeah,
so.
Literally. Like, name one celebrity or professional athlete, musician that didn't start up. Like, fucking Steve Jobs started in a garage. Like, half these guys that are like multi-billionaires now, like, couldn't even afford to eat half the time when they first started.
Fucking Zach Bagans' biggest claim to fame, him and his sister were on some game show when they were kids.
Dude, if you go on YouTube, check out Zach Bagans on Wheel of Fortune.
With them sweet pants and that awesome hair.
I think he was blonde in that one, too. He's a lot smaller. He was younger. He was not as buff. But, yeah, guys, like, just keep trying. Don't let anyone hold you down. Like, it's going to take a while. You're going to fucking go through hell doing this shit. You're going to bust your balls. You're going to bust your wallet. You're going to bust your own hopes and dreams at points. But the second you give up, the second it's done. Like, I've always said, like, if we made it the day I turned 98, it'd be worth it. It would suck doing 60 more years of this bullshit. But, you know, just keep going, guys. That's the positivity for today.
And it's not that we know what we're doing, but most of the time we have no clue what the fuck we're doing.
Oh, no.
Like, we're just winging it.
Life is all about the journey, about the adventure. Like, we've gone through hell doing this shit, but we've also had some of the funnest fucking times of our lives. Like the road trip we did last year. Like, I missed that week. You know, we've met so many cool people doing this, been to so many cool locations. Got to do, like, you know, radio shit, now TV shit. Like, even doing the local haunts, we're going to these cool places we never knew existed. And,
that most people don't actually even know exist.
Yeah. So, yeah, like, you know, might not be, like, living the happy married life with kids in the picket fence right now. But honestly, I don't even fucking want that shit. No. Like, I want to enjoy life while I can. One of these days, me and Anthony have decided we're going to go to Disneyland with Aaron Goodwin because he's there all the time. That's our goal. Yeah, like, he's literally there every other week. So that's end goal for us is to go to Disney with him. Just be kids. Yep. But yeah, keep it spooky, guys. All right, so on that super sappy, inspirational ending right there, we're gonna cut this short. Hopefully, it's not another 6 to 12 months before we do another one of these. But hopefully, we'll see you guys all soon. Hear from you soon. But in the meantime, I'm Ben.
I'm Anthony.
And it's been so long since we've done this, I forget to call. Oh, this is People vs. Paranormal. Rest in peace.
I love you, Joe Rogan.